beat up side assist with 2 frames. Yeah, but then like there was just way too much sidestep in attack too, which was one of the things that made the game skewed just to higher level players.
So for those of you who missed it, the recent balance patch, absolutely awful. No one likes it, and anyone that does like it, like from what I've seen, have just been like green rank Mishima players who haven't been able to win anything ever, and suddenly they're getting wins now because people can't step them anymore and people can't whiff punish them anymore. But the long and short of it is this balance patch is absolutely awful. It's like the dev team are trying to kill movement. They want to kill whiff punishment. They want to kill basic fundamentals of this game that we've been all using for years now, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. With every balance patch, I've been saying this, the game just gets worse and worse, and not to mention the online issues the game also has. I'll be getting into that later on, but my real focus on this video has to go straight onto Michael Murray, because we the people have had enough with this man. I mean, when you're, put it this way, when we got a balance patch like this, none of us understood it. Like every player, you know, if you talk to any streamer, any content creator, any top player, none of us understood why Mishimas were getting tracking help. Well, Kazuya and Devil Jin were getting tracking hell sweeps, and all electrics were harder to whiff punish, and Lee's back 4 hardest to whiff punish, and the Hwoarang buffs made no sense. Who asked for right foot forward, back 4 to be a counter hit launcher? Absolutely no one. Anyway, like we didn't understand this, and we simply asked for some form of communication from the dev team, from someone. Maybe, you know, other games like to do like a whole dev diaries and videos explaining why this character got buffed and this got nerfed, and just explain the changes. And the only explanation we got is that characters get buffed and nerfed based on win-loss ratio. This character wins more, this character loses more, they get changed, and that's absolutely ridiculous. That is not how a game should be balanced. That's not how a game should work, especially if you're taking online into consideration, because there are some bad players out there that could lose with any character, but they choose one specific character, and because they lose with that character then gets buffed. That makes absolutely no sense. And even if you take offline taunt results into consideration, that also doesn't make sense, because Rangchu won Tekken World Tour. This is, everyone knows this. He won Tekken World Tour with Panda. Panda then ended up getting nerfed, but Panda's been notoriously low tier throughout this game. We all knew that the character isn't fantastic. It was about the player, not the character. It was about Ranchu's whiff punishment, Ranchu's use of spacing even though he can't backdash. It was about all of that led him to the victory, not the character. Galanda, when the LCQ of Katarina gets nerfed into the ground. I can't understand this reasoning and logic behind buffing and nerfing, which is why we asked for some form of communication. And now we move on to Michael Murray, who seems to be having some kind of public meltdown on Twitter. Now, obviously, when we all saw that they were buffing Hellsweep tracking and whatever, we were rightfully annoyed, because it means we just have to take mix-ups and 50-50s now instead of actually using movement to mitigate some of the risk. And by the way, one thing I'd like to quickly throw out anyway is good Kazuya players, good Mishima players would be wave dash realigning anyway. So mindless sidewalking and mindless sidestepping won't win you the match. You have to time it. Those are the mind games and the in-depth gameplay that what made me really enjoy Tekken, made a lot of people really enjoy Tekken. Like, you can't just mindlessly sidewalk. You have to time it and get a feel of your opponent's timing. Because if a machine plays like wave dash realigning in your face all the time, you're not gonna be able to just sidewalk everything, which is why you didn't need to buff that. But anyway, we have Michael Murray's tweet here. Surprised at how few people understand context. I like 3D fights for a reason. Doesn't mean a character should have most of his tools sidestepped. Really lost all faith in the internet. What do you mean by that? A character shouldn't have most of his tools sidestepped. Like, I even said this before in my tier list video. I put Kazuya near the top of A tier. I think he was at the top of A tier. And the reason for that is I said, yes, playing against Kazuya is relatively straightforward. You know what you should be doing, but it's not always easy to execute, because if a Mishima player is wave dash realigning in your face, you cannot just sidestep everything. But this tweet proves here Michael Murray does not understand the game. This is absolute proof here. He doesn't understand the game. He doesn't understand how it works. He doesn't understand how you should be playing the game, because to him, the only way he understands how balancing should work is, wow, this character's getting sidestepped. The low layer players are getting sidestepped. No wave dash realignment in mind, by the way. He's getting sidestepped. We need to buff the homing on this, which is ridiculous. But I digress. Moving on, we have this next tweet, and this is the one that really gets under my skin for just a little bit. Maybe there's a better way to fix it. We will see. Pretty hard to prove your point either way without the Tekken World Tour events going on. Now that, does anyone get like a sense of like disdain and like just smugness coming from that tweet? Just absolute level of smugness. Oh, sorry, there's no Tekken World Tour events to prove your point, so I'm right until Tekken World Tour comes back. That's what I get from this tweet, where he's basically saying I'm right and you can't change my mind until we have tournaments taking place. And even then, like, what does that prove? Because we know as players that buffing these things make it really stupid, and we take the Hell Sweep buff out of the equation. The electric buff is ridiculous, because with punishing electrics is already difficult. Now you've made it even harder to do that. You have to whiff punish them on a read now. It's no longer a reaction thing, which is ridiculous. I played against quite a few Devil Jins and Heihachis and Kazuyas since the balance patch. I know it is the only time I've punished them is because I just made a read on it and I got lucky more than anything. And this game is evolving into a now test your luck simulator. But here we have Fergus, who is making some very good solid points about the gripes of the community, like simply just putting his words completely well articulated in how we feel right now. And it's respectful, it's coherent, and simply it's just what we all think at this point. And I don't think anyone can disagree with that. And there are many other players as well who are voicing their concerns in respectful manners, and just simply saying, listen, we have a problem, we just want more communication. All we want from you guys is more communication. And then there are two things that I really got under my skin at this point, especially about Michael Murray. One, we had someone say to Michael Murray, listen, we know you trust the balance team, whatever. We just want more insight into how balancing works. We want more insight into why certain changes were made, which is what most people have said. I don't know if you watched the Wave Dash podcast with the Blasted Salami that aired Friday just gone. They talked about how it'd be great how Overwatch does this. Mihawk mentioned how Overwatch does it. They have a whole video where they explain this, and it's great. The community loves it. And then Michael Murray's response: I wish we could announce patch notes and reasoning, but seeing how people react, do you think it would help? I'm starting to really doubt that. No sarcasm intended. And I am so frustrated looking at that, because if you the thing that really annoys us as players when we see these changes, every season there's been changes that we've questioned, and we've just had to roll with it. We've just had to take it and roll with it, and we've just had to like move on and like, okay, this is how things are now. It's different. If we had some kind of explanation as to why things got changed, like maybe it wouldn't help. When you think maybe it wouldn't help, but when you make such brainless changes as buffing the whiff recovery of electrics and move that leaves back 4 and giving Hwoarang new counter hit launchers and giving him more plus frames, when you make those brainless changes and you do not explain them, the outrage will be 10 times as worse than if you gave us some form of explanation as to why you thought this is what this person needed, this is what this character needed. But when you give us nothing, this is how we're going to react, plain and simple. And then we're going to get into the thing that really annoyed me. Is this was Michael Murray's response to all the people responding to his tweet. He called it Roach Motel. He said this tweet, Roach Motel, to the people responding Roach Motel. He's calling us, the players of his game, the people who respond to him and want to have some kind of informative feedback, roaches. Fergus is a cockroach in Michael Murray's eyes. He's made this great, full list of how we feel. Cockroach. To Michael Murray, he's a cockroach. We have players talking about, well, we want better movement in the game. We want this, we want that. You're a cockroach. We don't understand the changes that you're making to the game. You're a cockroach. to Michael Murray. And this is my real problem. This is my absolute real problem. He cannot handle any form of criticism unless he won't respond to your tweet or care about your tweet for two reasons. One, unless you are in complete agreement with him, or two, you are being an absolute garbage human being and you're being really aggressive so he can then use that tweet to vilify you and make himself look better. Those are the only two reasons to actually care about your tweet. Everyone else, the people who are making constructive criticism, like Ferguson caring about, just clearly caring about the players, he won't have anything to say. Or you're a cockroach. Those are the two things that Michael Murray really feels about the players. And this really annoys me because without us, the players, the content creators, the streamers, the competitors, this game, what would this game be? Because the online is garbage. And that's one of my main problems right now with Tekken 7. The online is absolutely garbage. And without any offline Tekken, what do we like? It's all we have. Every single update, it gets worse and worse and worse. 4 bars feel like 3 bars, 5 bars feels like 4 bars and 3 bars or worse. And people have already bad connection, just makes it worse. Then what do we do at this point? And we've complained about stuff like save scummers and pluggers for the longest time. And I don't know if I can find the tweet. If I do, I'll put it on the screen. But there was a tweet a while ago where Michael Murray said that he was playing online and he ran into someone that plugged on him and he was going to get his account banned or something like that. Do you know how annoying that is for players like us who have had to deal with this? We see pluggers get away with this stuff all the time and no punishment, but they can do something about it. Michael Murray said himself they can do something about it. They just choose not to. And that's what's really been getting under my skin about this for the longest time. And don't get me wrong, I know Michael Murray has nothing to do with the balancing of the game. I don't believe he's part of the balance team, but he is the person that we have to talk to. He's the only name and face we have when it comes to actually communicating something about this game. And the fact that this is what we get is absolutely, it's just disrespectful at this point. I can't even speak English properly at this point because of how annoyed I am. And that's basically what I have to say about the game. It's in a bad state right now. And for streamers like me, who this is like our main game to stream, it's what brings in the most income for us or whatever. I'm in a position now where what do I do? If I hate playing this game online, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to support people like Michael Murray. This is the way they treat us. I have to sit down and actually think to myself, do I find another game and maybe wreck my complete viewership? Do I make YouTube videos and another, like it's a horrible situation to be in, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But I'll find something, don't you guys worry. I'll find something and hopefully you guys will stay along for the ride. But that's all I really have to say about this. Michael Murray needs to fix up. We need better communication, plain and simple. Fix the damn online. And yeah, that's it. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, link in description, and I'll catch you guys in the next video when I'm not as pissed off. Bye.